Welcome to the Primary P Lead podcast, the go-to show for all things primary physical education and swimming. I'm your host, Sam Horton, bringing you practical tips, expert insights and real talk to help you lead PE with confidence, energy and impact. Whether you're on the field, in the pool or planning your next lesson, we've got you covered. Let's dive in.
Let's look at the bibs. Can we put attachments to the bibs? So I've got an idea at the moment where I'm looking at the bibs and I'm looking at attachments like capes and stuff like that. That makes them feel like a hero. And then when they run around that hurdle or run around that cone, they're not just running around a cone. They're running around a character or a monster or something like that. And I just thought that might bring an extra element. And like I said before, when you've got a coaching session, you've got 10 kids that want to be there and you've got the other 10 that don't want to be there. So can that include that other 10 that don't want to be there?
Hi everyone, Sam Horton here from the Primary P League podcast. Today's guest is Perry from PlayHero UK. Now, a little bit about Perry. He did sports coaching in college and run after-school clubs. Then he moved on to doing football camps across the Midwest in America, which is phenomenal, amazing opportunity. Then he went on to sports department, coaching students, and now he's just launching his new business, which is called PlayHero UK. The love of stories, characters, and imagination. Mix role play with sport and feel like heroes while developing their skills. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Perry.
Thanks for having me, Sam. I'm really excited to have a chat about what's going on.
A little bit about your own journey. Could you go into a bit more detail about it for me?
Yeah, so it's not the traditional journey, I guess. I started off coaching. I went to college, did my badges, and then went and did my FA level badges. And I thought, well, what do I do next? So an opportunity came up, and I went to America and coached the Midwest, which was a brilliant experience. I learned a lot, especially with the culture. And then I came back from that experience, and I was like stuck in a predicament because I think at the time, mate, the money wasn't great in coaching. So I was torn between carrying on coaching or going into the education. So I decided to go to uni. Did a childcare course at uni, and then 3 months into that, my partner fell pregnant. So that was a bit of a predicament. So then I ended up dropping out for the just to concentrate on being a dad, and then came back up. The uni was like, you can come back and carry on with your degree. So I was like, well, let's go for it. Let's go back and do it. So I want to go back into primary school teaching. So went back once again. 4 months into that, mate, my partner fell pregnant again. So that was tough. So I had 2 kids under 1. Try and do a uni degree, trying to balance a job, try and balance house, and then decided to drop out again because I thought uni was a curse for children. So I went to work my dad's business, and then 3 or 4 years into that, I learned a lot from that, actually, running my own business. And then an opportunity came back to get into education. So I ended up coming back into a college and working in the sports department.
Oh, brilliant. Fantastic. I want to dive into your experience in America. You learned a lot about the culture. Was there much similarities? How different was working in America compared to the UK?
In America, they were crazy for sport. They were really enthusiastic, the kids and the parents. I mean, you go to the camp and there'd be about 20 parents watching, and the kids are really enthusiastic. And not just, I was coaching soccer, but they was enthusiastic about every sport. They're very competitive, and it was a real pleasure, really, because I came from working in England, where you get a session where you've got 20 kids and probably 10 really fancy playing sport, and the rest were just there for babysitting. So when you went out there, you had 20 plus kids, and every one of them wanted to be there, and every one of them wanted to challenge. So that was the biggest difference I found.
I've noticed that as well, is that like here in the UK, you have got to make the lessons really exciting and engaging to build that life skill. And it's really is down to the backing. If you've got support from parents and guardians, you're already halfway there.
100%.
So I get what you're saying from that. Is it like working in the sports department and coaching the students?
It was probably 40% practical and 60% theory. I focus more on the practical side because I wasn't qualified to do the theory side. But I think that's the biggest thing for the students when they come here, because when they see a sports program or football academy, they just think it's football, football, football. And then when they come in and find out that there's a lot more theory to it than practical, it's kind of trying to find that balance of them coming to the practical sessions but also turn up to theory sessions. So it's a hard one really to balance out.
What's your lessons like? Was there like mini games, mini sided games into a bigger game at the end? So you transferring the skills over, or was it really breaking down the skills, like a skill development kind of bit? How did it work?
Yeah, it's a bit of everything. So we, like we say, we try and like the structure was, making sure they understand the unopposed side of the game, then opposed, and then making sure that when they go into the games that they include all the things they learned before. And
Yeah.
it's just really just getting them to understand the structure rather than just playing like five-a-side or all that kind of stuff. It's understanding the structure of how a session should go.
I don't think there's a right or wrong answer because every coach is different. But
For sure.
what I noticed we're in a school setting that children within the first second, can we play a match? Can we play a match? Can we play a
Yeah,
match?
yeah,
It's like, no, it doesn't just work like that. Why would I do 9v9 when I've got six of them that just twiddling their thumbs and don't enjoy football? We need to try and bring the fun aspect in, maybe a bit of overload, maybe 3v2, some really small
yeah,
sided games, so it gives them plenty of time to succeed. So yeah, they don't realise that. It's like they say, it was part of my topic for this half term. Can we play a match? No, I need to teach you the skills first.
yeah. 100%,
So
and it doesn't change from when they from 9 to 16. They still want to go right. Let's play a game. Let's play a game. Like, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's try and learn something. Let's try and
yeah,
show you the basics first before we start kicking the ball around properly.
I want to move on to your new business, which is PlayHero UK. I really like the idea of it. Like yesterday, I was on Instagram and I saw it, and it popped up, and I was like, I love this idea because it's something that I kind of implemented within my own school setting. So, can you tell me why you've started this business and what does PlayHero UK actually mean?
So yeah, it was something simple, really. I mean, obviously my background in coaching and working with kids, and then having my own kids. And I was in the playground one day with a few of the parents, and they was chatting and saying they're really struggling to get their kids moving and into sport. And it just bothered me on the way home. I was just thinking, what can I do? What can we do to get more kids involved in sport? So I went home that day, I got on the laptop, and I just started thinking and started just going back to basics. And I was looking at the sports equipment, and you look at the sports equipment now, nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. It's the same old cones, the same old poles, hurdles, the lot. So I thought, what can we do to change that? And in my head, I was like, right, can we add a role play? Can we change? Can we put graphics on the cones? Can we put attachments onto the hurdles that make it look like a role play scene? Like, so rather than little Jimmy run around that cone, Jimmy run around that building. Can you run around? And then I was looking at the bibs. Can we put attachments to the bibs? So I've got an idea at the moment where I'm looking at the bibs and I'm looking at attachments like capes and stuff like that. That makes them feel like a hero. And then when they run around that hurdle or run around that cone, they're not just running around a cone. They're running around a character or a monster or something like that. And I just thought that might bring an extra element. And like I said before, when you've got a coaching session, you've got 10 kids that want to be there and you've got the other 10 that don't want to be there. So can that include that other 10 that don't want to be there?
I get it. It makes perfect sense. And on your poster, it says, "P should feel like playtime." So I like that kind of statement there. And you already basically explained how you would get to that point.
Yeah.
Now, it's something that I've implemented with my own school setting, that I bring in like superheroes from my lower years, and they want to take part in the lesson. They don't want to
Yeah.
miss any second of it, and
Yeah.
they feel that they have that ownership, that leadership as well. So I really like
100%.
that idea. It's something that I've have brought in as well for lunchtimes is sportsmanship ambassadors. And I think the Play Hero UK really does, for me, it looks like it really puts a lot of effort on the sportsmanship. And when I started teaching 10 years ago, I really do feel like the physical and the cognitive side was the big stamp that you'd focus on as a
100%.
teacher. And the social and emotional side is just faded in the background because there wasn't
Yeah.
a massive issue. I really do feel like you're putting a lot of energy in the social and emotional side. Why do you think that is so important now with this current generation?
I think there's a few. For me, I think it's so much easier to unfortunately give your children a tablet. Or I think parents kind of think nowadays that it's safe to keep your children inside and put the tablet in front of them. Like for me personally, it's about getting them out. And I've took my son out a few times with a football and trying to get him to run, like I say, run around the corner stuff. It's been a real struggle. So in my mind, I'm like, let's try and make it more creative. How can we make it more imaginative? Because that's all the tablet does. It opens up their imagination. So why can't we do that in real life?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. And what's so great about primary PE is that children don't realise how many skills they've been taught at that moment in time.
Yeah,
So simple as running around cones and bringing your superheroes with different movements. They could be bringing locomotion, it could be bringing agility, it could be bringing balance,
yeah,
leadership, teamwork, and they don't realise that because all they
yeah.
think at the moment is they are a superhero.
100%. And I think if I look at myself, I think I was quite late to sport. I would say I think I was more the creative child that wanted to be Spider-Man. And it wasn't until I was about 8 or 9, 10 that I really got into sport. So I think if this was around when I was a child, I think I would have been more open to getting into sport a lot earlier than I did.
So with PlayHero UK, what's your ambition? Where's it going to go, and what could you see it being in 5 years' time?
I think, like I said, I'm really early into the process at the minute, and I'm quite new to creating a product. But at the moment, we're just trying to get a prototype, and it's going to be like a kit bag with hurdles, all the basic stuff. But it will have all my attachments. I'm also at the minute going through a sheet of different games, no different to the games we're playing right at the moment, the basic games, but with added elements, added
Yeah.
storylines, and stuff like that. And then so once that's all packaged, then so hopefully I will trial it out and give it to a few schools just to try out and see how it goes.
I mean, once you've got that all developed, I'd love to have you back on the podcast and we'll do another episode and talk about it. I'm very excited for you. It makes perfect sense because having that storyline really is effective. Last year, I was just like really like frustrated because the culture within my school setting, I was getting so frustrated with the sportsmanship and
Yeah,
how children speak to one another. And I thought, what can I do? So now I've developed superheroes like yourself, but I
yeah,
developed it as a comic, and I called it the Sportsmanship Team.
love that.
And it's the Sportsmanship Team versus the Selfish Squad. That's what I've called the
Love
comic.
that.
And
Yeah,
it's all to do with they gain their special powers from the school badge, and then they start draining it. The Selfish Squad start draining it out of them, and at the end, the Sportsmanship Team they got their powers back by touching the school logo, the school badge, and
yeah,
then they convinced the Selfish Squad to touch the badge as well. So basically, at the very end, everyone becomes happy and shows that amazing sportsmanship at the end. And that's for my age 7 to 11, and then for my lower years, I'll redo to turn it into like the special bibs,
yeah.
and then. As a whole school effort, we've put a whole school stamp on, including our house points, and then they're in charge of the house points as well, the sportsmanship team. So what I'm going to do for Key Stage 2 is I'm going to get them to name the superheroes and name and find out like their special powers as well. Think of a special power for them. I'm trying to put a whole school stamp, and it's really we've only into autumn 2. We've only done 8 weeks of our first half term, but the shift, the culture has massively improved. Like now, I'm starting to see within my lessons that children are showing sportsmanship independently. And then I even had a classroom teacher. This has never happened to me before. Classroom teacher said to me last week, "Could you, come into my classroom?" And they've just showed amazing sportsmanship on their test results by giving everybody a round of applause, which is what I'm looking for.
Yeah,
So it's working. And this is the thing, though. This current generation is very challenging. We all know because of tablets
100%.
and everything like that. So the
Yeah,
social and emotional is really low. But one thing that's always has worked with children is structure. As long as
yeah,
you keep bringing it in day out, it will happen. And like what you're bringing in, those stories, characters, and imagination, that is exactly what should be happening within a P lesson.
100%. And like you say, echoes. What you've implemented echoes around the school, and the echoes through the kids. And I think it's just really important to push that. And it's brilliant. And it's nothing crazy. It's nothing massive. It's just something simple as using the imagination. And at the end of the day, all of us are still little kids, or still children. We all got imaginations, and it's just like implementing that to the kids.
100%. There's something else that I brought in. There's these sportsmanship bastards at lunchtime. It's basically the classroom teachers. They just pick some children, two children per class, and what they do is they wear a bib, says sportsmanship on the back of it. And I want the children just to have their lunchtime, just play with their friends. If you're playing Invasion or playing Strike Fielding or just playing a tag game with your friend. But all I'm looking for one little thing. If you see somebody do a good job, give them a high five and say well done. And I just think what you're doing with Play Hero UK and what we're doing as P teachers as or P leads is that it's the subject, the only subject that I really do feel that could really improve whole school behaviour because it has a big voice. We really do focus on the holistic approach of the child.
100%, and I see that at college as well. I see, we're lucky enough at the college where we can get the kids out running around and burning energy, and so when they come back into the classroom environment, they are more settled, they are more engaging. And then I feel if I speak to another department, like let's say business, they really struggle to get the children to focus. And I know they're a bit older, but it's still the same thing. But they are in the classroom. There is more focus. They are burning that energy, and they are more engaging at that point.
What's the sportsmanship like at college then? Is it tough?
It's I thought it'd be tough. It's not as tough. We actually, it's really nice. It's nice to have. It's nice to be able to be out there and listen to what they're going through at the moment, and it's them trying to find jobs, coursework and everything else that's going on. But like what we've done at the moment, we've introduced enrichment, where we are, as a sports department, we are trying to get every department active. So I was putting on basketball sessions at lunch times, gym sessions. We've got a gym here, and that really worked. So now this year, there's a load more sessions going on, and it's really working at the moment.
Thing that I find challenging in a primary school setting is children having a winning attitude when they
Yeah.
lose. That
Yeah.
is something that is very, very tough, building that resilience. Is there something that you could bring in for Play Hero UK that could help with that resilience?
I think it would be the storyline. I think, and it's the points. I think it's the points that you can earn during the games. It's not as simple as you say, like winner or loser, but it's understanding how to lose. And something I say to my kids all the time. It's sometimes it's more important to lose so that you learn how to win. And that's something that I'm massive on. I think because, like I say, there's a load of sore losers out there, including myself sometimes. But it's also, like I say, understanding that when you lose, it's a really good opportunity to learn how to win.
It's getting that balance right, isn't it? Because obviously you want to have that competitive spirit,
Sure.
and like we always say, that is it's all about taking part, but
Yeah.
sometimes it's about trying to win the game.
You don't want to lose that because sometimes what's the point, But like you don't want to lose it, but you also want to focus on, like I said, is learning how to win, and learning how to win isn't always about winning.
Here's an equation that I brought over to the children this half term. I just thought of it. I just thought it works. There's a child that we're in my school. There's a few actually. There's a few children at my school that are very good at sport, and sometimes they lose their head because of their resilience. So I just said to him, like, negative plus negative equals negative, but negative plus positive equals positive. So, for example, if your team's lost and you're your best player on the team, the next, just wipe it off. The next game, turn that negative into a positive, and then guess what happens? You just scored 2 goals because your team just won because you just showed amazing leadership and you stepped up to the plate.
Yeah, that's perfect. And I think, like I say, like with some of the better players, making them heroes or captains, part of that role is to go around to your team and encourage them. And that's massive about being a good player and a captain. And I think it's something that I always speak to the good players is like, make sure that you're going around, making sure everybody's on board. That's a big part of being a good player.
So, working for your dad's businesses, do you reckon that's really helped you, like pulling some of those things away to build this new business with Play Hero UK? And on top of that, I just think there's so many different avenues you can go down as well.
Yeah, working with my dad was a massive eye opener, really. I mean, I went from warm classrooms and hot coffees and whenever you wanted to working in a small little factory, cold and miserable, and it's and that really opened my eyes. But I saw what hard work looked like, and working for yourself. Everyone says when you work for yourself, you got your own boss. Oh, it's not. You got about 20 bosses. You got to try and help make sure that all your customers are happy. So that was a real eye opener for me, and really opened my eyes to what business world looks like and how to manage yourself.
Now, one of the things that I've noticed is that over the years through teaching is that one of the best skills for children to progress is peer-on-peer support. Because obviously, as a teacher, you do demonstrations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think that peer-on-peer support or bringing those challenges really do benefit the children. What do you think of peer-on-peer and challenges in the lessons?
For me, for my kids' school at the moment, I think it's really brilliant. What they do is they have kids from year 6 going into like year 3 and 4 and buddying with them, helping them with their reading, but not just with their reading, but just with day-to-day life. And what it brings is relationships outside of your year group, so that when they do go into lunchtime, when they do go after school, they're saying hello, not just the people in their class or in their year group, they're talking to everybody. And I just think that's massive, and I think that's like it's really working. And it's just nice to see them building communities outside of their year groups and get everybody's familiar with everybody. So when they go to school, they don't have to just rely on their year group. They can go speak to anybody and find relationships that way.
I mean, that's a superhero, that's a leader as it is.
Yeah.
So I want to go on to a bit of an open discussion, building
Yeah.
a fun, positive learning environment throughout the school day. It could be the lessons or in the mornings, after school clubs or lunch times. What do you think? I know it's early days with PlayHero UK, but what
Yeah.
kind of things do you reckon you could bring in to really take advantage of the school day for children, but maybe through their active 30/30 or just having that love and passion for physical activity?
I think with like Play Hero, it's all about inclusion. It's just I want everybody to participate. I want it to be fun. Um, and I want it to be more about confidence, not competition. I think I want to see where everyone is involved, including the staff, and it's something that I want the staff to get on board with. And I know in some schools where they don't have the money to have a sports coach, so sometimes a primary school teacher has to go in there and do a session, and sometimes that's not easy for them. So I'm hoping with this Play Hero, it's something that they can get on board with, and then they can get excited about the sessions, which is really important.
Of course, yeah, definitely. I 100% get where you come from. You're gonna, as a teacher, you're gonna put more effort in. The passion's gonna be there if you're gonna enjoy the lessons. So, are you thinking of creating a scheme work, or is it going to be more like a booklet of games where they can pick and choose to teach and deliver?
So I'm still stuck between the both, really. I think at the moment for the pilot, I think I'm just going to have like I say, a booklet of just session plans and like a way of ranking the game and how to hold on to the scores and leaderboards. Eventually, I'll go into more of an app where you go onto it and it'll play sounds
That's
and
good.
all stuff like that. I'm still trying to get to the bottom of how that's going to look. But like I said, at the moment, it was just be like a book of 20 plus games of nothing too dissimilar to what we're doing right now. It's just I added points, added storylines, and then see where it goes from there.
It sounds amazing. I like the idea of the book and the app with the sounds. Sounds really cool.
Yeah,
I'm just going back to what you said a bit earlier on, which is so true about games.
yeah,
You could have, like, for example, Stuck in the Mud.
yeah.
And I've just changed it because I'm a swimming teacher as well. I've
Hmm.
just changed it to Stuck in the Water.
Yeah, yeah,
And by
yeah.
just
Perfect.
slightly changing the game, it feels like a completely different game for the children. So basically, how you play Stuck in the Water is that you bring in a variety of movements
Yeah,
or traveling, and then once the tagger tags you, you stand like a T shape, like I call it scarecrow, and the child underneath does a pencil float, which is streamlined body to get them out. Or
perfect.
I've done it for the and it's so easy to just sort it out for children that have just started out in the swimming. The other one is just hold the high five and blow bubbles for 3 seconds, and that feels like a
Brilliant.
completely different game. The other one I got is Toy Story as well. Toy Story is that you call out a different character means a different thing, like Slinky spin round, Buzz Lightyear's travelling, and then Bo Peep is submerged, and then Andy's coming, everyone floats on the back. So it's just
Brilliant.
it's about just like slightly tweaking the game, because I think through speaking to people with vast amount of experience within our sector, who's a content creator like me, they just slightly tweak it, and it feels so different to the
Huge.
children.
Yeah, it's massive, and it's like you have to try. I think as sports people, we have that inner child and we have that inner imagination. So it's one of them. It's just channeling that and like you say, just tweaking the game a little bit. And once that little bit is tweaked, the engagement you get from the children is massive. And like you say, it's just one of them things that you just them little things that really change the game.
And we say, like, with adults, one of the best advertisements for adults is word of mouth. That's the same with children as
Yeah,
well. So when children
hundred
come out of
percent,
your lessons saying how excited they are, they want to come back. And
hundred
then
percent.
how we do it within our school setting is that it's kind of like a secondary school setup where I'm the P lead. I'm still the P teacher, swimming teacher, and I've got a full-time P teacher who's got vast amount of experience alongside me as well.
Yeah,
And we teach a cohort within that afternoon, and I will have one class and he will have the other, and then we swap over in the transition part. And the amount of children that come out from Mr. Bradley's lesson or my lesson, and then quickly talk to the other children, saying how much fun it's been, and talk about this, that, and the other. It's great
yeah,
to hear, because you go,
yeah,
job well done, because that's what you want. That's the most important bit. This is why I love teaching primary so much, because it's literally is the building blocks that help them to excel at secondary
yeah,
school.
hundred
And
percent. Yeah.
fundamental skills is very important. How important is those fundamental skills for you? Why is that so important for us to get it right at such an early age?
I think I do miss working in primary school. I do miss it because, like you say, it's the start of something, and for me, it was really important to get them kids happy because we don't know what happens after they leave school when they go home, or we do know some people are not as privileged as others. So when they come into school, you want them to have the best 8 hours possible, and that's getting the best out of them in any way that looks. So that's why it's important for me to be able to bring something that when they come to school, they're like, oh, play hero day. Oh, can't wait. I can't wait to be this superhero, or can't wait to play that game. And that's just something that I really want to see.
So we talked a lot about like the school day and stuff like that. Now, building that fun, positive learning environment with a lesson is obviously it's all pros if
Yeah.
you build a fun and positive learning environment.
Yeah.
Why do you think the environment is so important to get it right? Because the downfall is it will spiral, and then obviously the teacher will lose respect for the children. Is one of the things. But why is it so important to build such a strong, positive learning environment? And how do we get there?
It's all about engagement, isn't it? And getting the kids interested. Because if kids not interested, you're lost. It's game over. They're going to start, throwing pencils or just disrupting the class. So it's really important from the get-go to get them ready, to get them excited, and to get them to not want to lead a lesson, to want us to do extra. And don't get me wrong, there's times where you've got to sit down and you've got to do the work. But as long as there's a reward at the end of that lesson, or there's a reward at the end of that, then they're going to want to do it. They're going to want to focus. And it's just really important to get that balance of time to learn and time to play. And it's just that in between where we can keep them excited and engaged.
I think pupil voice is very important as well, and I don't do that enough, which is what I'm going to start doing 2 or 3 times a year. Having a pupil voice in a way that obviously I still create all the systems, but having
Yeah.
that helping hand of what they're looking for, I think that will really benefit them, making my subjects stronger. Let's move on to your top 5 tips. So, can you think of 5 tips that will help build a high quality P provision?
As I say, top tips really is engagement, storytelling. So, like I say, we play here, storytelling. It's like you say, getting the kids involved, giving them opportunities to maybe how can we change the game, make them feel involved in the whole experience, and making them feel like it's their game. It's like that. Sometimes it's their session. It's what they've put on, and it's like trying to make them feel like responsible for what is happening and stuff like that. I think it's really important to make sure that they are feeling like they are part of the game and in the game.
that ownership I bet it's quite tough to get that completely spot on when you got 30 children. But I get where you're coming from. I mean, there's little things that you could do. You could give them, could do like a little bit of side tasks, and
Yeah,
or you could have a speak to them beforehand. Pupil voice is really, really good. Um, Working with partners, working small groups, that'd be really beneficial.
yeah,
But yeah, I'll get where you're coming from that is letting them. It's that kind of thing. Is that let them get involved, let them have ownership, but
yeah,
you're the leader as well
yeah,
without
yeah,
them
for
knowing
sure,
it.
for sure.
Yeah, I'll get that. That makes perfect sense. Now, is there anything that's coming up in the near future for Play Hero UK? What am I expecting from yourself in the next, let's say, 6 to 12 months?
Yeah, so at the moment we are, I'd still say early stages of the prototype, but we're close. We're close to how it's going to look. And once that's finalised, I'm going to build a package. This will be all shown on my Instagram. And then once that's ready to rock, I'm ready to give a few out and come down to sessions and give to schools to let them play with it, and then see where it goes from there.
Well, you're more than welcome to come to my school and do like an assembly or pop into my lessons or whatever you want to do, because I think it's going to be
Appreciate
very
that.
beneficial for PE provision and swimming provision as well.
100%. I appreciate that. You're definitely the first one to get your hands on the on Play Hero.
What's your Instagram if anybody wants to come and follow you?
So it's at the moment we've only got Instagram, so it's Play Hero UK. I've got a mailing list that will keep everybody involved in what's going on. I'm just getting a few more photos from the final product that will be up there soon. So yeah,
Well, Perry, firstly, I just want to say a massive, massive thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. And I wish you all the very, very best with Play Hero UK. And I look forward for you to come into the school as well and popping in and seeing our pupils and going with it.
thanks, Sam. I appreciate your support, mate.
My pleasure, mate.